Well, hello everyone. It has been far too long since I've posted a video, but I haven't really had anything worth posting. It's been the same old same, flying around, busy winter, busy at my job, but this time I've got something worth it. Me and Grandma are packed up and we're gonna pick up my boss from work. We're gonna go to Columbus Airport and fly to Las Vegas for some Grand Canyon flying and some off-roading in the Ford Broncos. Stay tuned. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
11B.
11B?
Good, thanks. You see where there's barely a gap? That's where we're at. I mean, this is a Spirit flight. You got this much extra room between you. But you also have the responsibility of the exit. So that behind me is the Las Vegas Hacienda Cessna 172, which, from my understanding, currently holds the record for the longest consecutive flight. Over 60 days in the air, not touching the ground. Check it out, Google it. It's sitting right there behind me, hanging up in the ceiling in the McCarran Las Vegas Airport. Bronco Off-Roadeo. I'm going to talk a little bit specifically about just this program that Ford has for our Bronco customers and their guests. When you arrive, speaking specifically to the Las Vegas location, I've never been to the other three, which is Moab, Utah, Texas, and New Hampshire. But this one, when you arrive, it's basically an old Boy Scout camp that they retrofitted to accommodate everybody out here. And when you get there, and then you get out and it's kind of like a free-for-all. You basically grab whatever Bronco you can. I recommend getting a Badlands. It's the only one that they have in their fleet of Broncos that has the front stay bar disconnect. Just an added feature to play around with and fully expand your experience with the Bronco. You drive around, get familiar with it. They teach you how to park it, which is kind of silly, but there's actually a process that you would apply the electric parking brake instead of using the transmission's park mechanism to hold all the weight of that vehicle on different hills and different vehicles.
here at Bronco Off-Roadeo in Nevada, and currently on the back half of the day right now. We're having a blast. I recommend everybody who's got a Bronco on order, whoever purchased one, definitely make it out to one of the 4 locations. It is a blast. How you enjoying it so far?
I'm loving it.
Yeah. Has Bronco 2 done any pit maneuvers yet?
Nah, he couldn't catch us.
One of our awesome guests and customers who are on the trip with us happens to be a law enforcement officer, and by natural tendencies likes to get a little tight to the lead Bronco. So
the amount of instruction that they give you, it does not matter if you're experienced off-roader or you're brand new. They make sure that you understand everything. The education they give about this thing and just why things are working the way they're working with the transfer case and the axles, all the different drive settings that this thing has, the capabilities, very in-depth, and it really helps people, experienced or not, kind of understand what is going on in this machine as it's climbing these rocks, as it's going through these trails, as it's navigating these different types of terrain. Very, very useful stuff. It's not like you're sitting there waiting for your opportunity to jump in the Bronco. You're actually engaged. It's very eye-opening and very, very cool. I really appreciate that they took the time to deliver those types of pieces of information the way they did. Really engaging.
Oh man, look at this.
That's pretty cool.
That's how you change them too. You can change the tire this way. Parking brake's probably on though. Isn't that crazy?
You'd be fine.
You'd be alright.
Yeah, you'd be okay. I really doubt anything would happen. I haven't flipped a Bronco here yet. It would be pretty cool if I did. Make a really good story.
Yeah.
Definitely get fired.
Yeah, definitely.
Go and steer downhill, hop right behind that Bronco.
Ooh, bud. Engine's still 190 degrees and transmission at 181. That is impressive. Usually when you're pulling something heavy, like F-150 or even my Expedition, it's like 210 when you're torquing it. But we're not really stressing the transmission out. Like we're not going like up a bunch of hills. It's going a lot downhill.
Just been running all day.
They have been running all day. Yeah. Non-stop. Is there a skeleton right there? You see that?
Yeah, I see it on what it is though.
So most of the course was driven at like 1.5 miles an hour, and that is all controlled with trail control. It's basically cruise control for 10 mile an hour or lower, and 4 high, 4 low, with lockers engaged, lockers not, whatever you want to have done. And you don't want to go through here really fast. There is, however, a moment in the very end where one of our instructors and guides named Diego, his background is trophy truck racing. So he takes it upon himself at the very end to show us a little path that he's carved out for himself, a little piece of the day that he always looks forward to, and that is to drive the Bronco Wildtrak as fast as he safely and possibly can. I didn't get a chance to look over his shoulder, but we were scooting, and you'll see that here in a little bit. Thank you very much, Diego, for doing that for us. Really appreciate it. We got to see it in full Baja race mode, and it is absolutely impressive. But our other instructor, I want to give a shout out to Joe as well. He's a veteran, also has a very huge background with just traditional off-roading, rock climbing, actually teaches other courses, other classes before he came out here to be employed by Ford at the Bronco Off-Roadeo events. Very knowledgeable gentleman, and can't thank him or Diego enough for being with us.
lot of suction, right?
Yes.
I can trust this?
I fly airplanes with it on the wingtip.
All right.
It ain't gonna go nowhere.
Really?
All right.
You gotta go over 150 mile an hour before I gotta start.
Oh,
getting
challenge accepted. No, I'm just kidding. I could not pull that off here.
Wait, before you get started, you weren't the one that ran off the one curve and hit the bush, were you?
No. God.
Okay.
I didn't even know somebody did that. Alright, so we're gonna have to take this one. Well, maybe we don't. Might be wrong.
We'd be over there.
Oh my gosh.
Really grippy.
Oh, yeah. And this is with traction control off, too. Oh, hey, there's the ledge.
Yeah.
Almost the bush.
That's the one that the bush got hit, right? Or no, it's this one.
Oh, no, I'll show you where somebody went off.
Ford engineers are gonna love to tear these apart and see just like what all they're gonna. Well, they've already done all that testing, probably.
Well, that's what I do at work. Is all the engines that the 2.7 engines that blow up,
Yeah.
they get sent to me.
When you just
And then-
investigate what.
Me and my guys tear them all down and figure out what happened and what caused the problem.
So I have the 2.7 in my F-150. Should I be worried? Now that you mentioned
He
it.
says no comment.
Yeah, right? Sorry, I had to do that one. Every once in a while, you gotta test how close you can get it.
Yes.
Propane.
Where are they? There they are.
Just all you see is, yeah, that's, they said, all right, your finish line is the propane tank. And I was like, I wouldn't say that's a good finish line. Like, I used to go drifting and stop about a foot from it, but obviously there's a beam right there. But then I was like, you know what, just in case I do something, I don't want to go into that.
So much for mechanical sympathy.
Yeah, no kidding.
And shuffle,
I
and
wanna get
shuffle
the serial
steering.
number off this end, so-
All right, so before I continue to the next part of this video, I've got to do a huge shout out to Airworks in Las Vegas. They picked me up literally off the street. I didn't call ahead, not as far as like, you know, weeks in advance. Usually they have like a long schedule, but I just show up, started knocking on FBO's doors. Airworks took me in under their wing, pun intended, and Shannon, sweetheart, lovely woman, she took care of me and got me set up with Tony, amazing flight instructor, very thorough. We gelled really well, and initially I was going to get in a like a 172, which was within my ratings and endorsements what I currently have, but the day that I would be able to go back up and fly, was all booked. So the whole trip would have been, you know, pointless to go up and get checked out in their plane if I couldn't bring up my friends and a couple of our guests rather, and go fly around like the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. So that was one of my goals on this trip. Once I got there and we discovered that we couldn't use the Cessnas, it became known that they have an Arrow, which is 200 horsepower, variable pitch propeller, constant speed, and retractable gear. And you need a complex endorsement to fly that. And luckily enough, Tony was available, the aircraft was available all day and all day Friday, and I got my complex endorsement while I was out in Las Vegas. So here I am, about to get in the airplane with Tony and fly around. I gotta apologize now. This Dinosaur GoPro Hero 3 and my flight recorder cable for the cockpit audio was not working, so I'll probably just narrate through parts of this as we go along here. So here we are, mounting the ramp. Just took a little quick video. There's the Arrow, and here soon is going to cut to Tony and I in the cockpit. So we basically get in there and we go through everything, the run up. One thing that was kind of different is that this is not carbureted, it's fuel injected. So you actually don't run the mixture full rich on startup. You turn the fuel pump on, adjust the mixture up until you see fuel flow, then you bring it right back to idle cutoff, and then engage the starter. So this is pretty exciting because I've never flown in anything besides commercial aircraft that had a retractable gear. So here we are, full power, gives the controls back to me. There's a slight change in runway takeoff from tower, so he quickly grabbed it and got us out there because I'm not really familiar with this airport at all. But here we go, get up to about 65 knots and then we rotate, and now I'm aviating. The whole rotate and aviate comes in, and then we grab the gear lever, pull it up. Here comes my first gear up. But we get out and basically we just lets me have the plane and gets used to the controls and how it flies. It's a little bit heavier than the Warrior and Archer. Do some steep turns, do some stalls, some slow flight, and then from there we discuss and we learn about, he teaches me the variable pitch constant speed prop and when to and when not to deploy the gear. Once we get done doing a few of those steep turns and some of those maneuvers, we head back to the airport, do 5, 6 takeoff and lands. This plane is kind of a pig, so fast pig. I know it's kind of ironic, kind of oxymoron, but once you're coming in at about 85, 80 knots, and once you cross that threshold when you start to rotate, flare over the runway, and then slowly remove power from the
Okie dokie, everybody. What's happening? Got Neil and Jeff here. Prepare to go fly over Hoover Dam and Grand Canyon, right? We did the Bronco stuff yesterday.
Right. I'm no expert. I think this mic's supposed to be at the front, though.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Propeller is clear. Clear prop. Starter engage.
All right, next. Again, I don't have my cockpit recorder working on this GoPro, so here I am with Jeff and Neil. They're good friends of my boss, Mark. Neil here had a Bronco ordered, and he took delivery in January of a black diamond, so he got to come out with us on the Bronco Off-Roadeo trip. And after some weight and balance and fuel and temperatures and everything was all calculated, Mark decided to not come on this ride. So he allowed Neil and his guest Jeff to come along with me and kind of do some sightseeing. Crossing over Lake Mead, about to get to the Hoover Dam here. Incredible views from up here. And once we started heading a little bit more east towards the Grand Canyon, the weather that day was really windy, really choppy, and due to some of the time constraints that we had, we didn't get to go all the way across to the canyon. We didn't really get a chance to fly through the corridors. Either way, being able to come out to Las Vegas, come to an FBO who's never met you before, allow you to check out and get endorsed on a new aircraft, and then 2 days later allow me to jump in it and fly with these guys was just an absolute honor, a blessing, and so fortunate for Airworks to be as accommodating as they were. I highly recommend going there. I mean, I've never been to any other FBOs, but my first impression of being able to walk in and how they handled everything, very professional, very courteous, very reasonable. So, more camera issues. The Hero 360, the Hero Max I have on the tail of the airplane, does not last very long when you're shooting 360 footage. It lasts maybe 45 minutes to an hour if I'm lucky. So the last couple views coming in are going to be just of my iPhone that I got that's looking out the window here, coming on landing. And then we get a lift, and then we head back to our hotel. At this point, we're done. You know, Vegas was fun. Didn't actually go down the strip much. All we did was hang out at Resorts World, brand new hotel, brand new complex, and very, very awesome. There was really nothing else to leave it for other than to go see something unique or specific. But if you were to go and get a room, gamble, have entertainment, shop, eat, drink, that place had it all. It was a brand new, amazing. But yeah, we have the red eye flight. So what this is it's 11:45 p.m. Las Vegas, leaving to go back to Columbus, Ohio, and we're 3 hours behind. It's a 3 hour and 45-minute flight, so we're looking at 6:30 arrival in Columbus. And this is Spirit. We upgraded the seats to the very front on this flight. Still, I mean, rough. It still didn't recline. There's no, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't get any sleep, hardly any sleep. My son had a ball game too at 10 o'clock, so I was dragging hard. But hope you enjoyed the video. Glad you could come along with me on this little adventure here. I got the opportunity to share with you a little bit of my job and a little bit of my hobby and combine them together, and show you guys some cool footage and some cool things that we have going on.